You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
UN chief warns of imminent catastrophic consequences as US launches new strikes, report, based on an article by Alexander Willis. Washington lit the fuse, then asked for restraint. Power moved first. The United States launched strikes on Iran, then launched more strikes after Iran answered in kind. That is the sequence that matters. The power to start this exchange, to widen it, and to keep widening it sat first with Washington. The United Nations Secretary General can plead for restraint all he wants. He does not command aircraft, missiles, or the decision to use them. This is not a mystery wrapped in a misunderstanding. It is an escalation driven by a state with overwhelming military capacity and a habit of treating force as policy. The official story is doing cover. The U.S. official quoted anonymously told the Times, "The latest attack was meant to degrade Iran's ability to strike commercial shipping." That phrase is bureaucratic varnish on a live war decision. Degradability is what officials say when they want violence to sound technical instead of political. The reality in the source is simpler. The United States struck first on Saturday, Iran struck regional U.S. allies on Sunday, and the United States struck again. That is not restraint interrupted by chaos. It is an escalation ladder climbed by choice. Misdirection is the point. The United Nations statement urges all parties to de-escalate, which is the kind of diplomatic language that can become a laundering service for the stronger side. Yes, Iran responded. Yes, the Strait of Hormuz matters. But the article's structure risks flattening responsibility into a shared fog, as if the parties arrived at catastrophe by equal confusion rather than unequal power. The United States is not a bystander in the story. It is the country applying force, justifying it, and then acting surprised when the region reacts to force. The Strait as pressure point. Iran's announcement that the Strait of Hormuz was closed until further notice matters because the route carries around 20% of the world's oil trade. That is not just a military fact. It is an economic weapon with global spillover. The article gives you the shape of the danger without naming the political design underneath it. One states turn shipping lanes into bargaining chips. Ordinary people pay the bill. This is what great power security looks like when it is reduced to coercion. Commercial shipping becomes leverage. Regional populations become collateral. Global markets become hostages. What this really reveals: the deeper pattern is not misunderstanding between two equal antagonists. It is a U.S. foreign policy apparatus that keeps reaching for strikes first, then reaching for moral language second. The anonymous official's rationale, the UN's neutral phrasing, and the paper's emphasis on mutual restraint all risk hiding a plain truth. One state had the institutional power to choose escalation, and it chose it. That is how imperial violence preserves itself. It speaks in the grammar of management while producing the conditions of disaster. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Raw Story for today's article, with the automated voice of Kuzil. Thanks for listening.